Welcome to Didedi's Crafty Corner. My name is Diane and I'm so happy you stopped by today. Good morning, guys. Happy Sunday. Today I thought I would start a process with you. Here's my idea. I had this thought. So I've got a bunch of stuff on my desk. I've already pre-made what we're going to do today, but I had the thought that went with this whole process. So you guys know about these art bins, right? I have, I think, 8 of them that are just absolutely smacked full of the little inserts and full of dies that I never pull out unless I have a specific project and think about it. And I thought I would start pulling something from a container every week and using it to make a project. And I thought I would share that with you when I did it. So today I pulled out my rainbows. Now, I only had 3 rainbows, and I actually only used one of them. I used this stitched one. But because of the way my brain works, and I don't remember the companies, I believe this one's Simon, I believe this one's My Favorite Things, and I believe this was Avriel. Nope. Almost had it. It's not Avriel. Yeah, I think it is Avriel, because it was a little bit smaller. These are a little bit wider. The only difference between these two is, this one goes up more at an angle and this one is more round like a circle. And that's why I chose this one, because my idea was, when I shared this with you, is to show you alternate ways of doing it, like dressing it up, or how to do it if you don't want the die, or how to use what you already have to make a rainbow. You know what I'm saying? And then with all these little extra pieces that I have, I'm going to be doing later in the week an abstract card, and I'll share that with you when I get to that. All right. So these are the dies that I picked for today. Out of these 3, I only used one. But then I thought, how could I make my own rainbow and make it look good? How could I do that? So I worked on that. So the first thing I did was I grabbed my circles, my nesting circles. I think we all have nesting circles. I took my nesting circles, I put them all together, right? I laid them all out, put them all together, and you could see I got a rainbow, right? So I cut them all out, cut them in half, and then I had 2 rainbows, right? So that's one way of doing it. And that's how I made this top one right here, was with that. So I'm going to show you, no, that's how I made the second one. This top one I just drew in, and I'm going to show you that first. I don't want to show you all of them. I just want to kind of show you the process. So I cut one out with cardstock. That left me with all of these, right? I drew one out on a piece of paper. You can't possibly see it maybe, but all I did is I took my glossy accents. I laid that down there. I took my pencil, right? I took my pencil and I drew the circle around it, and then I took a small plate from my kitchen and I drew around it. So if you didn't have these dies, if you had these dies, you could just lay the dies there and do it, right? But this bottle of glossy accents turned out to be the exact same diameter of this rainbow right here. That's why I chose. We all got bottles laying around, right? So I did that. So then from there, for this first rainbow right here, right, all I did is I took my markers, and you could use Bic, you could use Sharpies, you could use crayons. Oh my gosh, we have so many tools, colored pencils, whatever you have, right, to make a rainbow. I just pulled out my markers because basically I was mimicking these same colors that I had cut out over here for my rainbow, right, which you could find those colors anywhere. So then I went with the smallest, and I think it's easier sometimes if you go with the smallest. That way you can kind of gauge how big your lines are going to be. And I took my violet color and I colored. So this is just in pencil, so I can erase that if I want to. And you guys know my eyesight is for real bad, so I just gauge it. And there is no perfect about this. All right, so I'm just going to go around that circle, and where that line is where I'm going to be cutting it out with my scissors. And then I just go around and I make it as thick as I think I want it. I went just a little bit thicker than those pieces that I cut out because I didn't want everything to look exactly the same, right? And another reason why I chose these is because I thought maybe I would get a little bit of blending, a little bit of leakage, a little bit of seeping through to another color, and maybe that would look kind of cool, right? So I did that. And that might be thick enough. And then I went to my next color, which for me was a turquoisey color, a mint color. This one is actually Coral Sea, I think. And I did the same thing. Only with this one, it was a little bit easier because it doesn't, you know, you're following the line. That's why I think going with a bottom color as opposed to a top color, you'll have more of an even rainbow. You'll have more of an even arch, right? See? And then I just go around to make sure that color is saturated. And then if you wanted to try to get fancy and kind of blend these edges, you could go back in like this, kind of fade out that one line of purple a little bit, and there's your second arch. Now, I continued that all the way through, right? I did all my colors, and when I got done, I ended up, I wish I had taken a picture prior, but I ended up with this color rainbow, okay? Then what I did is I cut it out. So I took my scissors, I cut this out, and then I cut this out. Two very simple cuts, you were done. And then I added glossy accents to the top, right? Which is what kind of muted down those colors a little bit. And I then, to make it even more sparkly, because you can see how sparkly that is, I added some glitter right on top of that glossy accents, and then I added a little more glossy accents. And now I've got a great rainbow that I made from a piece of paper. And it looks fabulous, right? So you don't always need all those dies. Okay, but now let's go a step further. So now we've got this gorgeous rainbow. My next rainbow, I decided to use all of these dies that I showed you. I put them all together, I cut them out. I actually got enough to make 2 rainbows out of them. They were just plain white cardstock, and I decided, okay, how can I dress that up? So now we've got this one. And then I want to use this white piece of paper though. Oh, we'll use this one. Then I got this one. So this one, or these, that I cut up, cut in half. Actually, I think I didn't cut it exactly in half. So it's a little less on the bottom side, a little more on this side. And then how many of us have these? Right? I've got 2 of these. Full of sequins or beads or sequins that I don't ever use. I hardly ever pull from. And in fact, I'm not even a big fan of sequins on a card. So I decided, why not use them? Guys, we got all this stuff that we're not using, right? So now I've got this cute rainbow. So I took each, I put it on typing paper, glued it down on typing paper so it would hold all those little rings together, because it cuts out each one of these little sections, right? And then I took all of my sequins, and I only used 4. I had the Pretty Pink Posh mixed bead sections, right? So like, here's one of them. It's got purples in it. It's got the little dark purples. This one already had the blues and the greens in it. And this one had the yellows. Oh, this one had the orange in it. And this one had the orange and the yellow in it, right? So I only used 4, and very little, as you can see. There's hardly any gone from that. And I used my art glitter glue, and I just put a little line, maybe up to 6. I added them on there with this very inexpensive little pencil. You know, you don't need expensive tools. You really do not need expensive tools. You can pick these up for hardly anything, really. Pennies you can pick these up for. You just got a rubber sole on them, and it just picks up. You know, it'll just bend down, it'll just pick up anything. And I placed them on the glue, no problem. If glue gets on here, it comes right off. No big deal. Very inexpensive. Then I added all those sequins on there, and that made a gorgeous rainbow, right? So again, this was from Minimal Supplies. We all have a nested circles. So you can make your own rainbow, and we all have so many beads, so many decorative things laying around that we can throw on there. So no color needed, right? And it's actually super cute, right? So that was an idea. So that took no dies. But then to get around to using that die that I pulled out in the first place, here this is. So then here's the one that I cut out with the Simon Says stamp, I believe is the company that had that one, the stitched. It could be my favorite things. I really don't remember, and I don't really care about the brand. I don't care about the brand or how much stuff I have anymore. That doesn't bother me in the least. I'm more about creating and creating with what I already have and enjoying the few things that I buy throughout the year. That's where my mindset has been for the last couple of years. So that's what I'm doing. But I still hardly ever get to those dies. These kind of dies that I keep on my rack, my little cart by my desk, you know, I call those my staple dies. I'm always reaching for those, but these and those art bins I hardly ever reach for. And I want to start using them and looking at them and seeing them again because, you know, they're in the bottom of a closet that I don't ever see. So that's what this little series is going to be about. All right, so here is this one. Super cute, right? It's beautiful. There's no fault in this. I love it. But do I love it any more than that one? No, and I made that one all by myself. Like 100% all by myself. Do I love it more than that one? No, and all I needed were some circle dies. So it's just all about creating. So now let's go ahead and we're going to put these three, we're going to add these to cards and we're going to keep them about the same. Not changing anything except for the sentiments. Now to add to these sentiments, I wanted to use another stamp set that I just recently bought from the Not Too Shabby shop. I purchased a couple of these little, oh, we just had a light go out. Hold on. Okay. I purchased a couple of these little stamp sets. Now these are not very expensive, but I wanted them for different ideas. Like, and actually I bought this before I came up with the rainbows, but I grabbed the rainbows because of this. Because of this stamp set. I bought, you know, they have sweet, I think they've got friend, they've got, they're all little sentiment stamps and they're just centered around the one keyword. And in this case, it was rainbow. The sweet was another one. And I think, I don't know whether they have a die to go with it or not, but we already have rainbow dies and sweet dies and all of that. I wasn't worried about that. So I'm going to pair it with some of these sentiments and I'm going to put it all in the same card and we're going to see how they all look at the end. Now to do I did a background and I did a frame. All right, so for all of these cards, I've cut out 3 of them and the background is all the same, more or less. It's a cloud stencil, right? But you could use a distress folder with clouds. You could use a distress folder. I'm not distressed. What do you call those? Embossing folders. We all have them. What about an embossing folder with rainbows already on it? Right? Or clouds. Or trees. Right? We all have embossing folders. That would be super cute. Right? I decided I wanted to use my inks. You guys know I love to play with my inks. So I used Tumbled Glass and the new Salvage Patina. I used both of those and I just created gradients of 2 different colors, a little green, a little blue. And then I used my rectangle dies and I cut out a window. Now I cut out a window. This is Simon Says stamp. It has a inside outside stitch so that I have, where is it? I have those little panels that I just had that on here. See the stitching? I have these little panels that I can throw up in my card making area over here and use for a background later. So I like doing that instead of just using, you know, I like having the 2 pieces, the stitched area as well. So I'm going to put that aside and I did that for all 3. So we've got 3 of these that I made using a stencil and just some colors. Some are lighter, some are darker, but they're all a little different. And then we have 3 A2 size cards that we're going to place this on, and then it's just going to be very simple from there. So the first thing I think we need to do is to put our sentiment on these cards so we don't mess it up when we put them on there. Also that there's so many cloud stencils. The one I'm using is for my favorite things though. is this one, the big puffy one. They have so many of them now. This one hasn't got a name on the bottom. No, just my favorite things. Cloud ST99 from 2017. ST99, stencil 99. Okay. All right. So I think that what we're going to do now is go ahead and put a sentiment on there. I'm going to do the sentiment in black. We're going to keep it easy. I'm going to use a Misty. Ooh, and I'll do something else I just did too. I'll show you this too. I picked, guys, do you see this one? I got this one. This is my old one. I picked this one up for $7.50 at Michael's. Yeah, it was on clearance, $7.50. Came with the magnet, nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's in black, but I'm going to go ahead and use my Old Faithful. I don't know why, just because it's all faded. I mean, look, the sun. Who says these things don't fade in a room? Because I don't even leave my windows open and they're completely faded. And this one is stuck without even any glue. Okay. All right, so the only thing we want to make sure of is that our sentiment is right with the clouds. We would hate to mess that up, right? So I thought I would do 3 different sentiments. That way I've got 3 different cards already made up. And I think I will do... So the sentiments are: you brighten my day, follow your rainbow, friendships are like rainbows, is like a rainbow between 2 hearts. That's super cute. And if you put some hearts on there, that would work. May you find your rainbow and a pot of gold. That would be super cute if we had a little pot of gold, which I'm sure I have one from Gina Marie Designs. You make me so darn happy. I'm over the rainbow for you. You fill my day with rainbows. I love you more than rainbows. You are I'm going to use the last 3. Final answer. All right. So it doesn't really matter which one. Which one we used. Now, a little trick for this, if you don't know, you can use a ruler and just kind of, you know, just to kind of make sure it's straight, right? So what I do is I just take my ruler, and I do want this to be like down a little bit, right? Because our rainbow, I'm going to set the rainbow down here. So I do want it to be down just a little bit. Again, simple. These are very simple. The only problem with doing that is sometimes with these new stamps, and I have a hair, with the new stamps, it'll stick to the side of your, your thing. If you do your little powder tool on the edge, it won't do that. But that would define me having to get the powder tool. There's still a hair right there. All right. If it feels like I'm trying to rush on this one, I am. Those grandbabies, it's Sunday. Happy Sunday, guys, if I didn't say that. These grandbabies want to come play today. Even though they're here. Oh, poop. All right, we're going to have to just do it ourselves. I don't have time for this. Anyway, you can, that hair is still there. You can, if you care enough to make sure that it's perfectly straight on your card, you can use that ruler to do it. And then, once you get it on there, there are lines on your Misty, so you can pull it down and kind of line it up that way too, which I'm going to do. All right. And then I'm going to take just one of these magnets, pop it down in the corner. All right, and then I'm going to use just black ink for this. these VersaFine. So I'm just going to use a VersaFine black ink. You could put embossing powder over the top of it to make it shiny, which would be super cool with all the shiny we got going on here. I'm not going to do that. I am, however, going to wipe that off with my ink towel because we don't need any messes going on that card when I press it down. Okay. So then I'm also going to show you something else I did this week, which was, I think, super cool. We're going to make sure that it's just pushed up there in that corner. And we're going to put it down. I made myself a little Chucky tool. And how I did that was, you know, I think that most of us have tried Grove. Pretty, right? Grove collaborative stuff. This is that scrub brush, right? It's great. It's great on your hands. But this is that scrub brush. And all I did was I took the bristles that were connected to this white piece and I cut them off with a little saw. My husband calls it a saw knife. Just cut it down flat. I heated up the bristles so that they melted to the bottom. And then I added my felt. And I added pink felt using glue. And that's it. And now I have my own little tool that cost me nothing because these wear out so quick. You know, I have a couple of them. All right, there's number one. We're going to take this one off and just exchange it for the next one and move along. I'll come back and clean that in a second. All right, we're going to make sure our clouds are in the right spot. And I'm going to go with the next one. Oh, that's not even the one I wanted. I'm over the rainbow for you. You fill my day with rainbows. I love you more than rainbows. You are a rainbow of wonderful. I'm going to use that one. All right, so we're going to set it down. And usually I'm pretty good with just eyeballing it anyway. I don't feel the need for things to be perfect. Back in the day, guys, I would 100% throw out a card if I didn't think it was perfect. Those days have been over for me for a long time. It's handmade, it's hand created, it's made with love. If it's not 100% perfect, I don't care anymore. I care more about the technique and what the final project looks like. If it's not 100% centered, I don't really think anybody's going to care. But like, I wouldn't smush it with black ink. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't do anything like that. All right. Make sure it's just pushed up where it belongs. I'm going to use my little tool here. And there's the second one. You don't want to set these on top of each other because, you know, that ink stays wet for a little hot minute. And you don't want the ink to spread. Get it somewhere where you don't want it. All right, let's go to the next one. I'm going to do this one. You fill my day with rainbows. Again, I'm trying to make sure, kind of just eyeballing it on either side. And then because of those grids, you can kind of see if it's, you know, really off. If it's a little off, like I said, who cares? But if you do want to get it perfect, use a ruler. Just on the bottom of your ruler, put your anti-static tool, a little baby powder, a little powder on there, and it won't stick to the stamp. Right on the edge of your ruler. All right, nothing there. Perfect. Okay. All right. We're going to set this aside and we're going to go ahead and assemble. Okay. All right, my finger's off. Make sure I don't have any black ink on me. And we're going to go for it. We got our 3 cards. When they have glitter all over them, you know, that's the way it is. When you work in once you get that glitter out, man, you're glittered everywhere. But this is my favorite glitter Absolute favorite. It's the Silk Microfine Glitter by Elizabeth Craft Designs. I've got it in a cooler, a warm diamond in a cool color, and I use it all the time. I love it for the tops of flowers. It's one of my favorites. All right, so all I'm going to do is add my art glitter glue to the back of my card panel. Those are the grandchildren calling right now. And then I'm just going to add this to my card front. Going to kind of make sure that it is, you know, about the same distance apart. Again, with my eyesight, it's never 100%, and I'm okay with that. All right, so we've got that one, and then let's just go ahead and do them all, then we'll add our rainbows, okay? So what do you guys think about this? I won't make them all this long. It's just this one I got carried away with my brain. My brain goes, oh, I can make my own rainbow. Why? Why do you even need this die? Why am I holding on to these dies? But I'll tell you why I'm holding on to these dies. Over the years, I have bought so many things and then felt so guilty about the things that I bought. Not that I couldn't afford the things, but just because they were here taking up space, they weren't getting used, I had such great love for them when I bought them, but then they just sit here and they don't get used, and I have extreme guilt. I'm not that hoarder mentality. I like things clean and simple. I like clean, clear spaces, and I had all this stuff, and more importantly, I had all this stuff that was too much to love, right? It was too much to use, and it created a havoc and a stress in my life that I didn't need. So I destashed it all. And with that same notion that if I wanted it again, I would go buy it again. But when it came to all of these little dies, I didn't really get rid of a lot of them, because I always thought that if something happened to me, it would be something that my grandkids or my kids would enjoy to have, you know? Not like that pile of papers in the bottom of your desk somewhere that, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff that we collect that nobody wants, you know? All right, so now we've got our 3 card bases. They kind of look the same, but they're very pretty, right? And now all we have to do is decide which rainbow we're going to put where. I thought because this one was so bright, maybe we should put it on a, and I'm just going to put these right on the bottom. What do you think about that? Or because this is so bright, it should go on the brighter card. Yeah, I think we'll do that, just like that. Okay, now you could pop these up if you wanted, and even make them higher. I think they have enough dimension, so I'm just going to put them down the way they are. And that is going to be the end of these cards. So again, I'm just using my art glitter glue. And I'm going to set it down kind of right in the middle. And then I'm going to press it down. I don't have my glass pieces out with me right now, my little glass bulb, so you can see my coloring behind there, right? This one, I have to say, this, I wish I had taken a picture of this one before I put the glossy accents over it. In fact, maybe I'll finish that one and take a picture, because it was so bright, so vivid, and it really, the color of it kind of went down quite a bit when I added the glitter. But still I like it. I like it quite a bit. To me, it looks like the old Rainbow Bright kind of method, right? It's so pretty. Perfect. And if you get any glue on it, just wipe it off, because the glue dries clear. It's not going to mess anything up. Pretty, right? Okay, add you there. I'm gonna add you there. And then this one, the last sequence one, this one's real rigid because of the sequence. Oh, the other thing I did is inside, so I added a little bit of glue all the way around. This is the one we made with the dies. Added a little bit of glue all the way around. I put it on copy paper. And then I added just this tiniest little dot of glossy accents right in the middle of each of those dots. And that gave it a jewel effect. I don't know if you can see that or not, but some of it looks like raised a little bit. So it made it look more like a jewel and less like a sequin. So that's a little trick as well. Although I've got tons of jewels. You could do this with jewels. If you have a lot of jewels, like I purchased that whole, I don't know who made it. Picket fence, rainbow gems or whatever, all those gems and the different colors. And I don't necessarily like the gems. I don't know. I like the clear. Yeah, this one's super rigid, so we're gonna have to be aggressive with it to get it to stick. This one, if you're gonna do this one, you might be better off to use a double stick tape on the back of it. I'm thinking, you know, just to be safe, because it's real rigid. But it worked. We got a little booger on this one. Got it. Okay. What do you think, guys? Really simple. If you wanted to, you could add a couple of little hearts on there somewhere, but super cute and fun, right? And this one, as you could see from the back when I showed you, this one came from this. All I did was just color it in. Went each color at a time, and we made this ourselves with a bottle and a cup. Really easy just to get the circle right? If you can freehand a circle, girl, good for you. I could not. My circles look like ovals every time I tried it. So there you go. So there was my inspiration, all from pulling out these 3 little dies. So let's see what we come up with next week. Okay, so I went ahead and colored it so you could see what it looks like. So all I did is, you saw me do the purple, I put the teal, the green, the yellow, the orange, and that's what it looked like before I added the glitter and the glossy accents. And then, of course, all you would do is just fussy cut, right? We can all fussy cut. So it's super easy. And I think it's pretty either way. Either way. But I just thought the shiny applique kind of look, right, was super pretty. So that's what I did there. Okay, guys, I just wanted to show that to you because it's super easy to do. Like I said, I used the glossy accent bottle, colored around it with my pencil, and then I used a small teacup plate, and I just used it for that. But you could also use your dies to do that. I just wanted to do this one, you know, without using the dies. So that was that project. And if you have stayed around for this whole 40-minute video, I have a surprise for you because I'm doing a little giveaway. In the process of stuff that I buy throughout the times, there are things that I don't use, or, you know, whatever, and I've decided to start doing little giveaways at the end of some of my videos, and today is that day. So if you have stuck around this long, then all you have to do is comment below, I watched the whole video, and I will pick a winner next Sunday during the video. So this is what I've got to offer for today. So you're going to get everything on here. I've got a couple of these little L'Enfant stamps, the llama, let me tell you, and the whatever this is, puffin, little puffin. I have a Gina Marie Designs background die. Gina Marie. Yeah, Gina Marie. Girls, I can't get that right in my head. So that's a background die, brand new. I also have a Gina Marie fireworks die for the 4th of July. I purchased this. Actually, I purchased this 3 times. I don't know why I've done it, but it's a cute little fireworks. I already have a couple of them now, so there's that one. I actually purchased 2 of these for a giveaway, actually. I recently purchased a couple of these from the Not Too Shabby shop. And I purchased 2 of these as part of a little giveaway I was going to do when I did the card for this. And then when I did the card, I forgot to do the giveaway because, you know, that's how my brain works. Beautiful, beautiful stamp set. You'll have to check with her on her site to see if she still has the dies for them. She might, and if she does, they'll be discounted. I believe this particular stamp set isn't even being made anymore, but it's gorgeous. It's a layering stamp set. And then you guys know I do that. I did do the Spellbinders Die of the Month Club. This is one that I just never really wanted. I never opened it or played with it. It's the September 2020. It was a big birthday cake. It's a big birthday cake. It has all these layers that are words, or you could just do layers that are no words and put, you know, different colors in them. And it's got fruits. Those are fruits, not vegetables. Kind of looks like that when you make it. It's just something that doesn't appeal to me, not my cup of tea. So that is what I'm offering. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope to see you again before next Sunday, but if not, I will see you Sunday for another What Die Will She Choose? All right, love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video.